This video is made possible by our patrons.
We're back, guys. Okay then, JP, if you want to lead the rule or the rule of cool here with doing the show, because last time, yeah, you go ahead.
Alrighty, yeah. So we are back again from WargamerOnline with some real life 3.0 experience after some theory crafting and stuff like that. So yeah, me and Fabian have been to a couple different 3.0 events to varying levels of success. I hate to say that Fabian did better than me, but yeah. So we're just going to chat about what 3.0 tournaments are like, what it's like to get back into the game. You know, for a long break for all of us from COVID, and an even longer break for Fabian, who been out of the game for like 18 editions, and yeah, just get on that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be chatting about today. So I think we'll open with the good stuff and just talk about some results. So Fabian, why don't you tell us how you did at Mancunian Carnage?
Yeah, I did all right.
Did all right. There we go. Look at man of humility and gaming scores.
Just walked out with an explosion.
Baby! We've got the gold back, baby! Yeah. So yeah, I won the whole event.
Yeah,
pretty
you
good.
did.
Playing a really fluffy list.
Fluffy, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I'm playing like the big bad at the moment, which is Zinch Archaon.
well, in some ways, you're part of the reason why it's considered the big bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's you know, you're not doing any of the fluffy Archaon players any favors. But
yeah, great event. Good. My first ever Age of Sigmar singles event.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really interesting to go back, see some faces that I've not seen since 7th edition. I would say.
Awesome.
When I was back on the tournament scene. Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed Mancunian Carnage. If you've never been before, definitely go. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely fantastic in Stockport. And it's held in Element Games, which was quite cool to see that in the flesh as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a sort of pretty famous site in terms of Warhammer.
Yeah, it was good. The TO organization, absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really enjoyed myself, and yeah, had some really good games actually. Yeah, some good stories. So yeah.
So how was it? So because you played in one of the TTS tournaments, I think, or maybe a couple.
Yeah, I played in like one of Owen's. I think one or two of Owen's tournaments, just to put my.
Yeah. So how was it? You know, coming back to real Warhammer as it was after
I really enjoyed
TTS.
the real life aspect of it rather than actual, like, you know, playing on TTS.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, TTS is. I mean, loads of people love TTS. It's not for me. Like, I'm not amazing. Like, you know, I take a very long time on turns and stuff. Like, like you young people, Liam.
I struggle the most on TTS. Like, it's not for me either. I'm very much like, for me being autistic, I need to have the models in my hand, throwing them about. Like, that's how we do it.
Well, I think honestly I find it hard to put exactly what my finger to put exactly. I can't even say that. I find it just hard to say exactly what it is about TTS that I don't enjoy as much.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it is different. Like, and it does get a different feel. And I'm much more. I mean, I think there is obviously the buzz of a physical event, right? Like, you are there with a bunch of other people there to play Warhammer, but also, I don't know. There's something about having the physical models, having the other person there. You can have a drink, you know, some food, some snacks, and it just becomes. I think the social and the hobby elements are so much more real.
Yeah.
Obviously, the graphics are better in real life. So yeah, I think for me, definitely that was the thing that stood out. Was getting back to real life. Just the energy. The energy of the whole thing is a lot more fun.
I think it's more the fact that Oh, sorry, Fabian.
Sorry.
The thing I like about these tournaments is all of the fully converted armies that people have done for them, such as yourself, your converted Stormcast / Zinch Archaon, the big beast up in that corner over there, and then it's just all the other stuff, because you just see so many different like armies that are really cool, and then you see them at the top of the leaderboard, and you're like, that's so cool. But
yeah, for sure. I think that is I think that is really cool. Like it makes the just makes the game like more real and more. It just is more what the hobby's about. I think there's plenty of talk about balance, and people love to talk about all that stuff and trying to get a better rule set. And I don't have anything against the game being more balanced, but really a lot of what the hobby is social and based on miniatures, right?
Yeah.
Games Workshop is a miniatures company more. It's not an esports company. Games Workshop aren't looking to convert Warhammer into an online game where you don't use real models. We don't play tournaments with unpainted minis. You know what I mean? Like, it is part of the competitive scene is the hobby aspect, and I think that real life tournaments just are part of that. And I think, especially at Lost in the Damned up in Scotland, I don't know about Carnage, but like there are a lot of obviously like people that spend time on lockdown armies and stuff like that, and just a really high standard of painting, and I think it's super cool. I think it's really cool.
Talking of painting, you did quite well there, didn't you, in the Lost in the Damned, eh?
Oh yeah, I mean honestly, I was working on. So I picked up the Grots. Like I was gonna do a pure Trog army. That was the idea, sort of as a lockdown project, and then I sort of was just like I really love a lot of the different models in Gloomspite Gitz, and I was like, so I'm just gonna do a bit of all of it. I was gonna have some Trogs. I was like, I really wanted to do a Mega Trog, so a Mega Gargant converted into a Trog. I almost didn't. To shout out to like my friends Nathan Watson, Michael Hands, Vince Venturella, who were all like, you can do it. And I was like, I don't think I can do it. They're like, nah, go for it. And so I have a big old Bundo Trog, who I think it turned out better than even I expected. And they're a really fun army to paint. And yeah, so I picked up Best Painted for them, which I was super stoked about because like I've never even been nominated for painting before, so it was cool to get an award for it after spending quite a long time on it. But if there is what Tzeentch Archaon is to gaming, I feel like Gloomspite Gitz is to painting. You know what I mean? Like you're getting a lot of extra mileage out of just how cool that model range is and the options you have with what you're gonna go for there. But yeah, that was awesome.
You did really well, right? I mean, where's your army right now?
Oh yeah, right now it's in the Warhammer World display cabinet, which is a huge honor, and it's only there because I met my boy Nathan at Warhammer World for a game, and we went to leave through the shop, which is the wrong way to leave now during COVID. It's a sort of one-way system, and the guy was like, one, what are you doing here? But he was like, two, what is that? Like seeing Bunda, who's obviously just this huge purple and yellow monstrosity in my cardboard box of minis, and he was like, that's really cool. And I think it's one of those things like it's not there's armies in the display cabinet there that are painted to a much higher quality than my Gloomspite Gitz are, but I think one of the things going for the army is like I converted sort of a Dankhold Trog boss to be a Lemangler. I converted Bundo. I think it's like it is an army where you're like, oh, it like captures a lot of the fun about what you can do in hobby, and which is I think why they liked it. And so yeah, it's in the Warhammer World cabinet now, living its best life. I do have the spider is sort of suspended, hanging upwards over the base, with a spike through him, and I'm pretty sure that the next time I go to Warhammer World, he's gonna have just sort of flopped over, as that spike is not able to hold him up there the whole time. But we will see. But yeah, so hobby-wise, it was super cool and it was super rewarding for me.
Yeah, nice. I also found that going to the event, obviously fantastic to just have some beers with everyone out of lockdown as well. Like obviously everyone's been through a pretty terrible time. Through the whole COVID situation, and it was absolutely fantastic just to meet up with a lot of people. Some people that I've just never met before in my life because it's just been through virtual or literally like WhatsApp or Messenger. And it was just nice to meet other hobbyists and gamers as well, like just like competitive gamers, and have a fair amount of beers. It was absolutely fantastic. Shout out to all my opponents who have played. Absolutely fantastic games that I played in all of them. So I think if you've never been to a tournament, I highly suggest going, and don't worry about like just forget about losing and just go and have like a great time. Like just don't have anxiety about like I'm gonna lose all my games, because there was a quiz at night time afterwards as well. Like everyone had beers and shots, and a good laugh. Like
Yeah,
I think we even crashed someone's wedding at the night time as well. I'm really sorry about that.
Wedding.
Yeah.
Disgusting. But I think there is this sort of idea that, you know, you go to tournaments and everyone's playing like the very best list in the game, and no one's gonna let you like make any mistakes about your rules and all this stuff. And it's like Warhammer tournaments are kind of not like other competitive gaming tournaments in that respect. Like I've played, you know, sort of some Hearthstone tournaments and things like that. And I'm sure, you know, people have talked about it with Magic, but when you go to a Warhammer tournament, it's not 70% of the field taking the best lists like it is in other games. You know, it's really, most of the people are not there to win the event. They're there because that's where you play Warhammer. Warhammer is mainly played at these, I think events is almost like a better word than tournaments. You know, like it's like people are there because, you know, you don't want to play your one mate who lives across the street from you every single game, you know, because, so it's like, oh, well, where can you go to like play, as you say, a bunch of other armies, talk to a bunch of other gamers and all this stuff. And that's what tournaments are about, you know? It's like, yeah, okay, maybe you'll play someone who's an experienced vet playing a top tier list and really knows their rules, but even then they're going to be, in my experience, 90% of the time super friendly, you know? There are like people if you're like, oh, I meant to cast this spell in my hero phase, but now it's the movement phase, I don't know anyone who'd be like, you can't do that. You know, obviously there's some things, you know, maybe the state of the game has changed and you realize you make a mistake, so you don't take back there. But in general, if people are like, you forgot and nothing has changed, you know, like the state of the game hasn't changed, you use your ability, everyone's fine about it, you know? So I think if you're a new player and you're thinking about like, oh, I'm a bit scared to sort of enter the big competition, it's like, you should just, it's not really like that. It's not a big, scary, terrifying place. It's like a very much a day of social Warhammer. So.
Yeah, for sure. Like Liam, have you been to any tournaments or anything? Or
I've been to quite a few doubles tournaments with Phil, Jack, my mate Sam, Luke, and it's like, cause I never used to like go to tournaments because of anxiety and stuff. I'd be like, oh, there's so many sweaty people there. Not in the sense of sweaty people, as in like really gamey and stuff like that. And then actually going there and it's like meeting so many different people that are quite friendly playing games. I think I've met about 30 people that I chat to on the regular now from like all the Throna Schools tournaments. But it's quite friendly. You can get absolutely steamed if you're not winning.
Or if you are winning.
But yeah, it's just quite a good experience. I think one of my most memorable experiences was having one Maw Crusher kill 3, what are they called? Great and Clean ones in a tournament. It just kept on mowing through them all. Yeah.
Just destroying them. I mean,
literally like leapfrog.
I've told this story multiple times now, but I will tell it again. Like my last thing that happened in the tournament was Scragrot. There was a Mega Gargant left on 3 wounds. Had to kill him with Scragrot. So charged him in. I had Arcane Bolt. Did some mortal wounds. Killed the Mega Gargant, and then got killed by the Mega Gargant when it fell down on top of him from killing him. And I'm like, that's just really cool. And like, regardless of what your results are, you know, you tend to sort of forget your Warhammer results over time. Like people, you're not really going to be like, I'm not going to be at a Warhammer tournament in 5 years being like, oh, do you remember when I came 4th place at Lost in the Damned? You know, no one. But I'm going to be telling people about that time that Scragrot killed a Mega Gargant and then died to it falling on top of him. Just loads. You know, like that is a good, fun Warhammer story that like you're just gonna get for a long time from going to an event. And like it's just those experiences are really cool, and you get them from playing at these tournaments. You know, and it really is not about the winning. And that's not to say that you shouldn't enjoy winning or bring the best list you can or anything like that. Like it's just that like people, almost everybody there, winning isn't their main focus, and they're not like, they're going to try and win all the games they can, but they haven't built a list to, you know, specifically fine-tune to win the whole event and stuff like that. And they're just there to have a good time and to help you have a good time. You know, like they're like, if you're going to be at a table with someone for 2.5 hours, like both of you are interested in like having a laugh, chatting about other stuff, chatting about the Warhammer meta, asking you how you painted your grots, like all this stuff is like a social experience with gaming as the backdrop.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting you say about time and stuff, because I mean, just sort of moving on. Like, I think as a whole, like Age of Sigmar 3 like tournaments, and if there's any TOs out there listening, like 1000%, Age of Sigmar 3, it should be like, I think it's 3-hour rounds for sure. Like,
yeah, I mean, especially at the beginning, right, when you're thinking about battle tactics, you're thinking about redeploy. Like, there are a lot more decisions in 3 than 2. Is one thing. And also, sorry, yeah, carry on.
So someone affectionately named it Age of Admin.
Yeah. So for me, I definitely found, like, when I first played, I was like, oh my god, battle tactics. Now that I know all the battle tactics, like without looking, it is faster. But I also think one of the things is, because of battle tactics and just like actually a lot of improvements to the game, games go to 5 turns a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, so I think in 2, like a 5-turn game would still take just as long, or at least, you know, roughly as long. But the difference was, a lot of games you could just say, okay, it's over on turn 3, right? You're like, I don't have enough stuff left to take these objectives back off you.
Yeah.
And in a lot of the battle plans, you're scoring like 3 or 4 points for one objective, you know. So you could sort of say it's over. Whereas in 3, and I think obviously this is a good thing in general, in 3, you can be like, okay, you know, this is going to be a 2 to 3 point game depending on who scores their battle tactics in turn 5. And so you do have to play the whole thing out. And as you say, there's a lot of admin and a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, I don't really know like how many like it'd be interesting to hear from Alex as well, actually. The TO from Carnage, like how many people actually like managed to finish their games and stuff. Like, well, my game 5.
You were also playing Zinch, which, especially with Cogs, right? You have a 30-minute hero phase.
It's weird, isn't it? Like with the Zinch and like the Cogs. I mean, I suppose with Archaon, my hero phase goes a lot faster than
than if you're playing like whatever else.
List.
But,
which I was actually going to take that to Carnage, and then Luke just said no. Like, it's your first event. Like, you'll never finish. Like, two. So like, so like there was some games where it was quite quick because Archaon just like went straight.
And then he's in and he's doing the business,
just, like, over. Yeah, but like, and then there's other games where like the game 5, right, to win it only went to like turn 3, and that was only till my turn 3. Like, he had his turn 3, and we had 4 and 5 to go, and that was like to win the tournament as well. So like, we didn't get to finish that game. Like, I think we finished like game 4, game 2 only went to 1 turn. So like I think realistically I only really finished like 2 games out of the 5, and I think that was the same for like most people. And I think if they had like
so it
extra, I think if they had like the extra half an hour, then everyone would have finished their games, or got to a point where they were like, we're going to start turn 5, but we can talk.
It'll be a 15-minute turn or something like that.
You can just literally like, okay, well, whoever wins the priority wins the game because they score this. So like, I think that extra half an hour, like, I think it is a 3-hour game now. I don't think it's a 2.5 anymore.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Did you find the same thing for you, or?
For me, all my games basically went to 5 turns, and I finished them all. Like, the closest we got was we had 10 minutes left for a turn 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished them all in time, and they all went to 5 turns. But also, I'm playing a combat list, so I don't have a hero phase. I have like 2 spells in my hero phase, you know. And I don't have a shooting phase. I mean, I actually do have some shooting, but I don't really have any buffs. I just sort of roll a bunch of quick dice that don't do very much damage, and then stuff starts dying. Right? If you're playing 2 combat lists, units die, and then in the later turns, both players only have half their units left. So like turn 5 versus Gargants was like 1 Mega Gargant left versus 4 Grots, Gragrot, and 3 Trogs or something like that. You know, so those are pretty quick. So I think I was, with combat lists, it's a bit better, but it definitely felt because I've sort of had a fair bit of practice of playing Age of Sigmar 3, but I know when I started playing it with the battle tactics, with redeploy, with like choosing where you're putting your buffs for not unleash hell, but also like all out defense and stuff like that, there is a lot more to think about and do than there was in 2. So I know my first games of Age of Sigmar 3, like the practice games, you know, they last, you know, they were a lot longer than I could have gotten away with at a tournament, you know. So I can see that if you're used to playing 2 and then you're coming into the game, like it's gonna be tough to finish in 2.5 hours or 2 hours 45. But we'll see. Maybe that'll be a bit different as people play longer. But I definitely think the first tournaments, if you're thinking about running the first tournament like for your local meta, I can definitely see it being the case that you're like, yeah, I want to give a bit of extra time so that people can fully think about these things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do. But yeah, altogether successful. Win for the WGO team as well, right? Like
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
So together we won 90% of our games.
Yeah, exactly.
And we collected all the right. So we got a, you know, first place. We got a, you know, best general or whatever you want to call it for winning the event. We got best sports. We got best painted. We got most VP. So like, you know, as a online community, as a YouTube channel, we collected a lot of prizes. So that means what we say is more important. So you guys should like and subscribe so that you can find out the secrets to painting brightly colored Gloomspite Gitz and stealing people's painting boats.
I'm winning with Archaon.
And winning with Archaon, you know, a lot of good tips coming in here.
I feel like I need to start winning stuff because it's just
I was about to
one-sided
say,
now.
What's your tournament schedule, you know, looking like?
Non-existent at the minute. I don't know. I need to go to one.
So you don't have anything planned?
Not one planned. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I think I should go to the most competitive one and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, you'll just win it.
Just take the Stegageddon. Just 8 Stegadons.
Stegageddon.
Stegageddon. Well, that's but like, I actually think this is a big thing I noticed. So I wrote my Gitz list, which was basically a monster mash list. You know, I had the Mangler, I had Bundo, who's a Mega Gargant for people who don't know. I had the Spider. I wrote that in 2, and it was a painting, a hobby army, but it really wasn't that good. It doesn't do that much damage and stuff like that. But in 3, because of the battle tactics, there is a lot more room for you to sort of play meme lists and achieve stuff you couldn't really in 2, where it's like, okay, you need a certain number of bodies to compete. You know, you need to sort of play in this certain way to play 2.0 competitively, and that has, I think, you know, it's changed definitely in 3. So if you do want to play Stegageddon, you can be like, okay, well, I'm going to win because I'm going to score all these bonus points for scoring battle tactics with monsters. Yeah. And then, you know, and that's enough. You know, one of the reasons I scored the most, like, VP of the tournament is because I had so many monsters. I almost always got bonus points for all my battle tactics.
Yeah.
And that adds up to quite a lot over, you know, however many games it was.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's really important to have monsters in your list. Like, I mean, I suppose that leads on to our...
Yeah, we will be having a show on
technical
monsters to sort of talk, because obviously you also give up VP for having monsters, but yeah, I think that was the thing I was a bit surprised by, and I think really for me that's one of the biggest surprises about playing a competitive 3 event was that the game had changed a lot. You know, I had some practice games, you know, in between the 3 launch and the actual event, and we didn't really play battle tactics because we were learning a bunch of the other rules, and so we were sort of just playing like it was 2.0, you know, but with new rules. Whereas when I was playing the actual event, I was like, it's actually very different in terms of what you need to do to win games, and I think that was actually pretty. I found that really cool. Like, it definitely felt like there was like that the way you play had changed quite a lot, and I think that and for me, I think it had changed, you know, for the better. It felt like there was less, you know, maybe I was just too used to 2.0, but it feels like there was more to do in each of the turns to get you points, and more to think about, and more ways to sort of express your skill as a player, which I think is what you're looking for in a competitive game. So I think that was really cool to see in 3, because for me, I honestly wasn't enjoying 3 that much in practice games. But then when I went to the tournament, as we said, part of it's the social and the hobby aspects. But once that started happening, I was like, wait, this is actually really quite a lot of fun when you're playing. I don't know what I would have thought if I'd gotten a little bit less lucky and had lost all my games, or lost a bunch of extra versions of my game. But guess we'll never know what that would have been like. But yeah, I definitely recommend to people who haven't picked it up, who haven't gone to tournaments in AOS in general or in AOS3 to go. Again, there's a lot of talk about Archaon, there's a lot of talk about GoTrek and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, those units are super strong and they're doing well, but you're not going to face them five games in a row. I faced Archaon once and GoTrek 0 times, and had all really fun games, including against Archaon, and that game, I'm playing Gloomspite Gitz. It's not a high-powered army, and I could have won that game. If I played a little bit of better strategy and gotten a little bit luckier, or whatever, some combination of those, I could have easily beaten. There's easily a world where I beat Tzeentch Archaon, one of the top lists with Gloomspite Gitz. So it especially now where it's the Wild West, people don't know. People are new to the game. They don't know about lists. They don't know about list counters. They don't know about the missions. Like, it's a great time to just to break out Stegageddon or whatever other hilarious list you have. Yeah.
Just have seagulls everywhere with all the Ethoings and the new Flappy Lady. Just swarm them.
Yeah. And just swarm them, regenerate them. They explode when they...
100%.
I love your names. Like Stegageddon, Flappy Lady,
Flap
Seagulls.
I've got consistent weird names for everything.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
It's just great branding, isn't it?
What I need to do in this edition is to get a few more of my Beastman monsters done, or Beasts of Chaos in this, and just have 4 Gorgons running about. So I've got a center Gorgon, I've got a normal Gorgon, I've got a Glotkin converted into a weird mammoth-looking Gorgon for my Gabe spawn. And then
this is what I want to see at events. This is what I want to see.
It's just mental. I just need Gorgons everywhere. The Gorgon Zola list.
Actually got game Beastman, but I know a lot of people are like, they're really weak and stuff. But once the beast players get to grips with the missions and everything else, I think they've got potential. If you see what I mean, actual potential.
Yeah, I mean,
just with,
I definitely think they've got more potential now than they ever have had.
Yeah. And I saw some interesting things. I'm pretty much. I think I've come to the conclusion that I'm pretty much off Tzeentch Archaon now, purely because playing Age of Sigmar 3, and playing the list and playing playing some of the missions. I nearly lost twice in the tournament. It wasn't just a case of I just slapped everyone. Tom Maudsley I played against. He had a couple of unlucky rolls. I mean, we both did. Sorry, my cat's just going mental. Just growing for me. So Tom Maudsley had a couple of bad rolls. We both could have ended the game a lot sooner, I think. Which goes testament to how good he is a player. I mean, he's ETC captain, right? I played against a guy called Logan. Very, very good ogres player, and he had 4 Stonehorns, and he literally he moved him. He gave me the first turn. I made a horrendous mistake and of positioning Archaon, and he kind of just went, okay, I'm just going to move all 4 Stonehorns in front of your army and double. He won the double, and then just went straight into the rest of my army, took it pretty much off, and I just had Archaon left, which was just very scary. If I hadn't have been an experienced player to know that a double looks always worse than
which I think this is a really big thing, and I learned this even on the channel, commentating on games. When you're watching even a single turn, but much more a double turn, it can be easy to get your head down and be like, whoa, it doesn't look like there's any way to come back. But that's when it's important to just just play as hard as you can the whole time.
I managed to win that by literally using all my Destiny dice to keep Kairos alive, and then sort of Archaon went in and lifted majority of all the Stonehorns.
He just went.
I went in.
Yeah, like he, like mortal wounds output and and Archaon, like killing like the hero with the metal cruncher and then a normal core one, and then I got the double back, and then took off the other one, and then he basically just had like a stone horn and some other bits left. So, it's just one of those, like it's it could have been very different, and that's what happens in tournaments, right? Literally, like if I don't get that double, he potentially takes the rest of my army off, and then I've just got Archaon, I probably lose on mission. So like, again against Morsley, like it could have gone either way. Priority roll, and then that was pretty much it, sort of thing. So yeah, it goes both ways in tournaments. Sometimes you get luck, sometimes you don't. And
exactly. You want to play the best that you can so that you're ready. So like this is a thing of like you got to be ready to get lucky. If you're sort of giving up and you're like, okay, I'm just waiting to lose. Like then when you do roll like a 12-inch charge, you teleport and get a 9-inch charge. If that's your only way to win, you should be prepared for it. It doesn't mean that you should build your list around making 12-inch charges, but if that's the way you win in your game, you should be ready to win like that. So
yeah, exactly. I think I'm eyeing up Luminef and Seraphon, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, you're tired of making too many friends with Zinch.
Yeah, exactly right.
I think the main thing you've got going for you is you can start singing "Open the Door, Get on the Floor," do the dinosaur if you do Seraphon, and then just go in one of those T-Rex inflatable costumes.
Oh god, yeah.
The proper meme way of Hammer.
Or cities, but I mean, I've been kind of semi-converting my chaos to do like Stormcast, and then they brought out these nice new dragons as well, which are on the wall.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So I might be swayed that way, I think. So we'll see, right?
Yeah. See what's what. Here's what I want to know. What do you think? We'll start with Liam. What do you think are some sleeper OP factions? What are some underestimated factions now that you can do? You can do better. I'm sort of springing this question on you guys, but factions underestimated currently at the moment. I know we talked a little bit about Beast of Chaos, so feel free to pick that. But I want to see what's your top faction to watch. Starting with Liam.
Mine's always been Orcs, because I love Orcs. I've played Orcs to the proper bare bones minimum in the last edition.
Yeah.
And now that there's so many new additions with the new Orcs coming out, and all these new monsters and stuff, I think they're quite... Well, the Big War, genuinely. And it's how cheap everything is.
Big War is also it's like the army right behind Archaon in terms of win rate, right? Like right behind Zinch is Big Wa, and I think it always just goes under the radar, Big Wa, because it's not there winning all these events. It's just there going like 4-1 and 5-0 or 4 wins and a draw and stuff like that, and it's always just sneaking along. So I think that's a great shout. Orcs, I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be a force to reckon with for sure.
I'm hoping for better Dragfoot stuff and the Bone Splitters, because obviously you've got all the new stuff coming out, and the new stuff doesn't really match that well with the Big War stuff. So I'm hoping they bring it all around and have all of it fitting really well. But at the minute, it's still really nice, especially with the Maw Crushers.
Yeah, Maw Crushers taking names at events around. So
and it's still like all the Bone Splitter stuff hasn't really changed for points, so they're still really cheap for 20-man blobs. I think it's 140 points for like 20 wounds and a Bone Splitter unit, and that's like more boys, arrow boys. War Doc's 60 points for a wizard priest, and it's just so
with the new
rules.
priest stuff.
It's pretty nice.
All right, I think that's a really safe bet. All right, Fabian, what do you think? Sleeper OP faction.
So I was talking about Beastmen earlier, but one army that I found when I was looking around the tables and watching that were doing really, really, really well, and against armies like Marathi, Bow Snakes with Gotrek, and that sort of stuff, right? And it was doing really well. Was Soulblight. My secret OP faction that
is going to be Soulblight. Yeah, that's a really good choice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I've seen them doing well, and I think they've got a lot of lists. So we maybe haven't seen like what the optimized the best the sort of net list for Soulblight is yet. Because people talk about zombies, which are obviously good, and people talk about the we saw a lot of what do they call the knights, the Blood Knight lists, which are also good. They've got a lot of options there, so I think that could be really cool. I haven't seen any of the Monster Mash lists really from them, where you play with like battle line monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think even those, again, from sort of playing a Monster Mash list myself, I think Soulblight's a really good shout. I think they're doing well at the moment, and as people figure them out more and more, they're just gonna keep doing better and better.
He's got the werewolf vampire dude.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
That model is huge. Like, I didn't realise how big it was, but it's like humongous.
He's a beast. What can you say?
He's an absolute unit.
He's an absolute unit.
He's got his two dudes just hyping him up. They don't even need to attack. They're just the hype man. They're just like,
they're just there. They're just like, here it goes.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of avenues you can attack down. It's almost like, weirdly, it's like almost like the cities book. They've got a lot of lists in the book. A lot of different things you can do, and it's
a lot of different ways to build.
Yeah, there's a lot of tricks in there as well.
You know what?
What'd you say?
I was just saying, like cities, like there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of like, you're not locked into like, okay, well I've picked this unit, so I need to like build my list this way. It's like you see a lot of people doing the a bit of the dire wolves build, or a bit of some zombies, or all zombies, or all blight kings, or a bit of blight kings, and I think that's the sign of a really healthy book. So I'm pretty excited to see what cool lists come out of that book for sure.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. It's definitely one I'm going to be picking up, and it's on my radar for sure.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I'm gonna actually to give the bias vote and say Gloomspite Gitz. I think they are actually like when I was I was going to the tournament. I was like, I brought this hobby list. I'm actually worried. Like, am I even gonna win more than one game? Like, blah 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 blah. And then, as I said, when I played it, it plays 3.0 really well. And I think, kind of similarly to what we're talking about with the orcs and with the beastmen and stuff like that, is there are these factions that didn't really get big points increases. And now play better into 3.0 that are better than people expect. I think if you do, you can you've got Scragrot, who gives you this sort of long range, you've got some spells with him and his shooting, and you can take out heroes. You've got a bunch of cheap-ish monsters that are self-sufficient enough to score you battle tactics, and you can still do something like take 60 stabbers, right? Who you can stack stave buffs on, and you can rally them and stuff like that. And because everything else got smaller, it's harder to put away 60 stabbers. And now, so if your opponent can't kill them and you rally them back and all that, you got that objective game. I don't know. I think it is just it's strong. I don't think it's top tier, but I think it is. I think it is strong. I think you can bring like even trogs or something like that, but you can bring a mixed Gitz list or Monster Mash Gitz list and do a lot better than I think people are. A lot better than 2.0. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like the army has a lot more going on for it than just sitting with debuffs and hoping you don't die. Hoping your heroes don't die. Now you do actually have some options to be proactive and make these plays, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think I hear a lot of like noise on social media about like these god heroes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But no one's going the other way, and I feel like maybe my next army might be the other way, like because Archaon can only be in one place, Marathi can be in one place, right? And all of a sudden, if you've got like hordes of like 60,
if you have 60 stabbers, Archaon doesn't do enough damage to kill them all.
Well, this is what I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. And Battle Shock doesn't require the Loon Shrine or your heroes anymore, which it used to. So you can just be like, I'm over here. You've killed all my heroes, but this block is not going anywhere until the unit champ dies. And if you can't snipe the unit champ, then what are you doing about it?
I think there's game in hordes, and I think it might be the new way to go, right?
Because as you say, like how else are you gonna? If you can't build something that kills Archaon, you need to deal with him in some other way. And if the answer to that is a horde of things that he can't fight through, then you also get the advantage of what do you call it? You also get the advantage of not. What am I trying to say? You also get the advantage of not like giving him any good trades, right?
Yeah.
It's like okay, let's say he does kill your 60 stabbers, then then you're like, okay, well they were half his points and half of them come back out of the Loon Shrine, and it took him 2 turns. So it's like not only do you have something that holds him up, but even if he does win that fight because you lose priority or he high rolls or you low roll, it's not a great trade for him. So as you say, it's sort of just going the opposite way and not engaging in. If you don't have a god character, you don't engage in the god character wars, and you sort of come at it from a different angle. So yeah, I think that's really cool. And again, I think, is Tzeentch Archaon very powerful? Yes. Is Gotrek very powerful? Yes. Have we seen the best lists of AOS3 already? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No way, because we've not written them yet. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I mean maybe someone's already playing them. You know what I mean? Someone that we don't know yet. But yeah, I think there's more to it that we haven't seen yet. Again, and I think I don't want to get engaged particularly in comp drama, but if people were asking me what to comp before my first event, I would have been saying Gotrek because he's in so many order lists and he is really, really strong. But then the results come out, right? And he's not doing that well. He's not winning all the events, so it's like, you can't always predict. He's in a lot of the lists and he provides a bit of an MPE, but you can't predict just from, especially just from what's on paper, and even from just 1 or 2 events, you can't predict what's going to end up being the very best things. So I'm very excited to see what changes in 3.0. I'm sure we're going to get an FAQ that shakes stuff up as well, but I think it's a really exciting time. I had an absolute blast playing at a real life Warhammer event, as we've said. If you haven't been to one, go to one. If you have been to one, keep going to them. And I'm super stoked.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm at a tournament again on Saturday.
Yeah, it's doing it.
Yeah, Super Series, which is gonna be pretty cool on Saturday, and then the week after, I am at another tournament, the Liverpool. Is it just play one? I think it is. It's a smaller one. So yeah, that'd be interesting. So
yeah,
you just need all those trophies. Need more of those fists.
Collecting more trophies. So yeah, I think that's all from me. I think the long and the short of it is I'm enjoying 3.0 and I'm excited to see how the meta changes and excited to go to more events. And if anyone else has anything to say to the contrary, please make your opinions known now. But yeah, I think that's it for stuff I have to say about 3.0.
I think it's more meme worthy and you could have more lists that you want.
Yeah.
Because my favourite thing in AOS2 was just having monsters and having those hero units, and similar to Luke's MSU, but not too gamey, because obviously Luke went to win. But I loved having more crushers. I had double more crusher, I had the pigs, and then I had my Beast of Chaos lists with 4 monsters in.
Yeah.
And there was obviously the Skaven as well, with a load of Vermin Lords, Storm Fiends.
Yep.
It's just now there's so much more open, and monsters are generally good, and especially if you've got cheap ones as well.
I think that's the thing with Gitz. I think cheap monsters just they do something that they didn't used to before, and it's not just being the best units in the game. You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, now monsters are so good they just kill everything. It's more that, okay, monsters now have a role in scoring battle tactics. And having these monstrous rampages, that means you can play them and achieve different things. You can win games via different mechanisms than you would by just, in AOS2, where it was really, if you either needed to table your opponent or have enough bodies to win. So I think it's cool that, bodies are still going to hold your objectives and score points in 3, but there are other ways to win as well now, which I just think is super cool.
Yeah. James Dean has asked us what are the top 3 armies to look out for at the minute, or just give your own opinions of the top 3. Mine will be different to yours.
I think for me, the top 3 will be probably Tzeentch, Lumineth, and Big Wa / Iron Jaw / the double Maw Crusher lists. I think those are sort of the top 3 that I feel like from seeing results and stuff at the moment and playing. What do you reckon, Fabian?
Yeah, I'd probably slide Seraphon in there for sure.
Oh yeah, I haven't actually seen Seraphon, but you're probably right. I've heard things. Yeah.
I noticed they were in the. I think there was like 3 in the top 10 of Carnage.
Nice.
They
Okay,
went
so
a
what
bit
sort of
upgraded
lists are those?
Double Basti.
Ooh.
Double Basti. I think they were the ones. What is it? The Constellation or whatever it is.
Coalesce.
Take one.
-1 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, that seemed to be.
Well, in an age of monsters, right?
Yeah.
And that's you're almost all the stuff. Even not monsters. There's a lot more stuff in the game that does multi damage instead of just 1 damage. You know, we don't really play in a meta of, witch elves and Grimghast and stuff like that. It's just it's much more of a monster multi damage, high quality attacks. So that's a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah, Seraphon look pretty tasty. Yeah, definitely Zinch at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Seraphon and Lumineth as well. Yeah, there's some really nasty Lumineth builds that aren't quite mainstream yet. They're not out yet. So
Yeah.
we'll be seeing those in tournament results and coming out
Soon TM.
Yeah, they are horrific as well.
What do you reckon, Liam? Top 3 armies, aside from... You're not allowed to include only meme lists that you've written yourself.
Damn.
Damn.
Just looking at all the rules and stuff, and just the general playing a handful of games, I'll probably go with Lumineth is probably one of the most annoying because of the Fox people, and there's so many close combat armies at the minute. There's not that many shooting armies. Like there is access to shooting, but not as better like Caradrons or Kernoff Hunters and stuff like that.
Sure.
So Lumineth, I reckon Ideneth are going to be pretty good.
Oh, interesting. Haven't seen much Ideneth recently.
Because they've got all the MSU stuff. There's not very many big model units. And obviously I've been struggling with like 10-man units with coherency and getting them into combat. So Ideneth, you just sort of overlook that. They've obviously got the shooting debuff of only shooting the closest.
Yeah.
They've got some...
and I know people have been building shooting into their list with the big 30 Reaver blocks.
Yeah. It was the whole like what's that command ability now? Open fire when something charges near you.
Unleash Hell, yeah.
That's it. But that's quite nice. And then you've got all the monsters and stuff in there. And then for my third one, I don't know. I'll just go with like Slanesh. I like Slanesh.
I'll just go with Slanesh. Just to disrespect Slanesh players in chat. You know, they're like, "Will you say what is he going to say? Zinch? Is he going to say Lumineth?" You're like, "Nah, I think Slanesh is the real problem."
Yeah, 100%. Summoning those 30 blobs of demonettes, that's pretty...
It's
pretty hassle.
Free summoning? Are you kidding me? No piling? Alright, so you've heard it here first.
Cut. That's it.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
end the show.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lordy, they coming. Alright, well, there you go. You got 2 sort of similar lists and one...
I'm just out there. I'm just out there.
Obviously better list.
I'm the chill uncle of the group that'll just let anything slide.
You're the 1 out of 10 dentists.
Exactly.
That don't agree.
We need that Stegageddon list. So if anybody goes to a tournament with it, just put your results around on Facebook and we'll find it or something. Or just even like and subscribe. Just do it now.
Yeah.
Just do it now and send me the list and how well you did. Otherwise, I'm doing it.
Oh, what?
I'll do it and I'll record every part of it in a dinosaur costume. I'll live stream it. I'll get absolutely drunk. I'll roll dice. It'll be a good time. Be a good time.
Right. We've clearly passed the useful stage of this.
Yeah, it's just going downhill.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. Anyways, hopefully that had some useful insights for what it's like to play 3.0 tournaments. Hopefully got some of the hype across. Hopefully see some people watching this at their first AOS3 tournament. But yeah, that's all from me.
Just play more tournaments, guys.
Yeah, play more minis, play more games.
Exactly.
So guys, remember look out for Slanesh, right?
Yeah, look out for Slanesh.
We'll write this down. We'll write this down. Underrated.
Boycott Slanesh games.
100%. Cheers, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on Patreon, give us a little hand, and we'll be up for more live streams. The next one's going to be the monsters. Can't remember which day it is next week. I think it's the Saturday or the Friday. We need to sort that out. But we'll get that linked up, share it everywhere, and we've got more bat reps coming out. Cheers, folks.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
This video is made possible by our patrons. If you want to know more about how to support us, click on the link to the right.